There we go. We're back.
Hey.
The whole crew is here on the RTFM show.
Did you guys miss me? No.
No, everyone was like,
Yeah,
you
your
should
wife is
totally
probably
just
way
let your
better.
wife be
Yeah.
a full-time stand-in
Just
now.
replace me. It's fine.
You just crack one for the boys.
Oh yeah, cracked
For
it.
the boys.
You already cracked yours.
Yeah, I pre-cracked mine. No, you gotta do the awesome
We
ASMR sound.
already poured it.
Well,
I don't even need to squeak it.
it's
I
so
just
satisfying.
do it. I can just go.
yeah, but the squeaking is.
Wait, here we go.
There it is.
We're almost done with this bottle of Elijah Craig. It's a good thing my best friend bought me 4 more bottles of it.
Dang, didn't this start full today? No, I'm kidding.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell people.
It's Casual Fridays, man.
Yeah. Casual alcoholism Fridays.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Well, on that note, welcome everyone to the RTFM show. It is Friday. It's 3 p.m. in the Pacific, where we live.
In the Pacific.
In the
yes, We're
Pacific.
in the middle of the ocean right now.
Well, no, I guess technically there would be time zones in the middle of the ocean between here and Hawaii, right? Because they're 3 hours behind us.
Where is the? Yeah, I don't know where the line is. It's probably somewhere in the middle.
Is there any body of water that actually anyone lives on between Hawaii and California coast? Down.
Catalina?
Things.
Catalina.
Alcatraz?
But that's still. No,
Yeah,
that's an inlet.
Yeah, I know.
That's
and
in a
also
bay.
that's still Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
I mean Pacific time zone.
Pacific Ocean.
Pacific time zone.
Wow, we haven't started drinking yet. Okay, this is just us. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. A couple things to plug here. We obviously are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other things. And we talked about our spring merch. Here it is right here. I'm actually wearing our white shirt. This is our Size Matters, which is kind of funny. This might be the only GPU you can actually buy. But it's basically
The one on the shirt. I just got it.
there's 2 GPUs on there. Basically, a tiny one that's you, and then the big one is the guy that's just a friend for your significant other, or the girl. I guess just a friend. I guess. And then it's also available in black, and then we've got our hoodies and stuff too. So we decided to do a white one because hey, springtime's here, so maybe people don't want to wear black and get all hot and sweaty. So I'm actually rocking the white one right now, and neither of you are wearing your merch because you both suck.
Well, we wore it all the beginning
week,
of the
yeah.
week. All the beginning of the week.
But you don't wear it on when it matters most.
No.
Does it though?
Yes.
It's a podcast.
If you aren't even wearing it, how can I ask them to buy it?
Oh, we have to show them on Instagram that we rock it.
Well, my shirt was so awesome that I already wore it.
I wore it so much I had to put it in washing.
You
Yeah.
both have more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already wore both of them. Stop. Shut up with your logic here.
Anyway, if you guys would like to get your very own, the link is right there, just jcsense.com. Also, too, our ultimate PC upgrade giveaway is in full effect. You guys can find the link to that down below also. So,
It's pretty ultimate.
why don't you tell everyone where you were last week and why my wife had to step in?
What do you mean? Oh.
Why weren't you here?
Why you gotta?
No, seriously, why weren't you here? I got to tell HR.
Oh. Aren't you HR?
No, I'm not HR.
No, you know I was. Well, anyway, I took the long weekend off because I wanted to get my head back on straight.
I thought you were just going to say because you want to fly your drones.
Well, that's part of it.
Crooked-
That goes into my topic, but
Cricket heads sort of suck. But I'm like right there. I'm like right behind you. I'm like, man, I need some headspace time now.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like the video that we made the other day. A lot.
Yeah.
You know,
That
it's
went
just-
live yesterday. People think I recorded it yesterday. I didn't. We recorded it earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But
There's just a lot of. It's just like. I mean, it's like all the shortages and stuff too. You know what I mean? It's just all coincidentally everything kind of happening at once. And it's
so
just kinda
speaking
like
of a shortage, right? So tell people a little behind the scenes of what our day was like today. My wife comes by and like the seatbelt in the back seat got stuck. It's like her brand new Mercedes, but my daughter apparently got it twisted. When it went to retract, and it tried to retract into the retractor twisted. So it got all jammed behind the pillar where I couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
So I did manage to finagle it out and get it straight and using my pick and stuff and got that straightened out. But she's come to my studio a couple times this week to put air in a tire because it keeps going low. Turns out it has a bolt on the shoulder, which isn't a repairable part of the tire, too close to the sidewall. So she takes it to my tire guy, the guy that's done all my racing wheels and stuff. And he basically was like, got good news and I got bad news. He's like, the bad news is we can't repair it. I mean, the good news is we can order you a tire. But the other bad news is the fact that exact tire is on a national back order. So we had to go with a different tire, which is actually the same exact tread. It's just one speed rating lower. But fortunately, even though the car's built for the Autobahn, we have like 65-mile-per-hour speed limits here. So we can go with one step slower on a tire.
I wonder if that's part of the stuff that was stuck in the Evergreen. Or the Evergiven.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, well, it's not just the stuff that was on that ship. It was the stuff that was on
backed
the
up behind
400 ships behind it, too. So, like, we're still catching up.
The irony is Phil goes out in the alley to vape yesterday. And he goes out in the alley, and I just see him go. And he takes a picture.
Come back in laughing.
And there's a short trailer Evergreen, like there's a truck towing a short Evergreen trailer that's like diagonally
in the
like
alley.
blocking our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like pretty much, it was pretty much just diagonal, and it was in the gate.
Yeah.
Just like the ship, it was right at the entrance and everything, too. I was like, oh, God, not again.
Here we go again.
It can't come to work because the canal's blocked.
And we were just laughing because it was just like, imagine being the company, like the only one that's gotten the biggest ship stuck in an even bigger canal.
They're probably like the only one now known, like like the only known shipping company.
Do you
evergreened your car into
Do you
that
think the
parking
manufacturers now go, okay, get 2 quotes. Get
one
Maersk,
for the canal?
get one from Maersk, and then China Freight, because we're not using Evergreen anymore.
Jeez.
All right, when we go and kick it off, Nick.
Well, I was thinking since we've all grown up playing video games and we've seen them get progressively violent.
We were playing video games mostly today.
Yeah, well, like through through graphics and stuff, like we've seen it get more violent. Like Friday the 13th, that was like super violent.
Well, yeah. I mean,
like,
it was
but
like true to the movies.
Today's standards, not like Mortal Kombat 2, like 8-bit kind of violence.
Yeah, but I mean, Mortal Kombat 2, like they use live action like footage in the game to make the little sprites and stuff. So
what
that's
do you
why
want?
the people look so realistic. But I mean, also pulling spines out.
But what do you want to talk about regarding that topic? Like, is the violence, like, are we against the game violence?
No, I want to talk about like at what point do you think a younger person in your family or a child would you let them play games like that are rated for older than what they are right now?
I tend to think the ESRB ratings are conservative. Like I feel like sometimes I'm like, this is not a 13 game or a 16 or however they age it. I personally, because you guys don't have kids, I do, and I think a lot of our viewers can relate to this situation. We talked a couple weeks about like controlling their screen time and what they can do, and I think games is a very good aspect of that, because you can't really install an app necessarily that will limit what computer games your kid plays.
Yeah.
I kind of just have to use common sense and say, okay, I need to research the game first of all. I mean, there's so many Let's Plays and playthroughs and stuff. You can always find information about the game. But then I'll just kind of compare that to her current, like, where is she mentally in her age? Because physical age and mental age very rarely line up, especially with my kids. So I feel like she's been bugging me to play Resident Evil Village. So I actually bought it today, and because we have family Steam share.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, it's in my my library. You can go ahead and download it and play it. And I know it's violent, but I also know that my kid, at least from what I can tell, seems to know the difference between video game fantasy and real life.
All right.
But I mean, this is something that's been argued all the way up to the government, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime something bad happens, people are like, it's the video games. They're putting the ideas in the kids.
Think of the children. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't think kids need video games to be violent to each other. I knew a bunch of violent kids in grade school.
I think
they
they're
can do violence all by themselves.
I think there might. I'm sure there's a measurable correlation between maybe someone that special needs and is influenced like that, but I don't have a special needs kid, so I don't know I don't know exactly how you can gauge that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's just, I mean, video games are just another type of media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it's the same thing as, if you don't want the kid being exposed to like violence like that, you can't. It doesn't make any sense when people distinguish video games from like movies or TV
Right.
shows or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're
The
going to let him
concern-
watch 24, you can probably let him play Splinter Cell.
The
You know what
concern, but I
mean?
think the concern is that movies and games is glorifying it.
Yeah.
So
No, that makes sense.
my oldest has watched me play. She used to sit in the room and watch me play Friday the 13th when we all used to play with subscribers back in 2017.
Yeah.
She was 4 years younger than now. Now I'm gonna make her 8.
Oh well. Yeah.
She used to sit there and be like, ew, oh, whoa. It's some of the kills. And she was like, really? You unlock different kills? I'm like, yeah, it's a slasher movie. The problem is now she's going, Dad, when can I watch Friday the 13th with you? Like, okay, we can't because it's not just the violence. There's also like straight up sex scenes in those old 70s and 80s slashers. But
and we're being stereotypically American.
But that's the other thing.
Like not the violence, but I mean you can show the violence, but not boobs.
Which is funny because I believe like some countries in Europe even just show nudity on regular like primetime TV.
Yeah.
I mean the U.S. really is quite prudish when it comes to sexuality, but
And Puritans, right? That's
Yeah.
what happened. Literally, the Puritans.
the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway,
They came off the Mayflower and were like, no sex. Like,
they came up the Mayflower fully clothed.
Yeah. I don't want to see an
layers
ankle.
of clothing.
It's 100
The
degrees.
scandalous ankle
It's 100
right
degrees in Florida.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, these natives put some clothes on. So anyway, but I think there's
terrible.
there's a couple of prongs to that, right? Is it ESRB rating based on violence? Is it based on like language, sexual suggestion or sexual content? Like I really think you can't just look at the rating and be like, oh, okay, yeah, yes
Well,
or no.
It says it under.
Yeah, I know, but what I mean is, I feel like it's like the F
If people
word, right?
just glance at it and they're just like, oh, this one's rated T. That should be.
No, it's
that'll
like
be fine.
I can't remember exactly what the FTC law is, but it's like one F-bomb gets you a PG-13, two gets you a rated R. It's like, why is it rated this way?
Yeah.
So I'll try and research it, but I also am not the kind of person that just goes, yeah, whatever game you want, just let me know. I definitely hold back, research, and then decide.
Do you think like the fact that you're also a gamer kind of helps because most of the time you've played the video game you're talking about, or your kids want to play, so like you already know what's in it?
I mean, we don't really have necessarily the same
really play the
taste
same
in games. Like she spends most of her time on Minecraft, which I'm
okay.
perfectly fine with.
Well, yeah,
Right?
Minecraft is a safe.
Yeah, I'm very adamant about who she's chatting with in the game because all games these days are multiplayer, right, and have chat built in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I've got the Bark app installed, and we've got like screen time set up and all that sort of stuff, and monitoring kids' Messenger so that we know who she's talking to and stuff. But inside of a game, which is a layer within a layer, I can't see what's being talked about. So I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that that's not being used as like Jack Ryan. I don't know if you guys saw Jack Ryan, but in season 2, they discovered that they were using the game chat to communicate terror cells.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's kind of like I need to make sure she's safe that way too. Not just what's the game about, what can she do in the game?
I didn't even think of that, and that makes sense too to me because it's like, it's almost like the other people in a multiplayer game are probably going to be the prime source of toxicity for a kid's like mind.
Oh yeah, just like
Versus the actual game content itself, especially when because that's why they always put those disclaimers. That's like, hey, this rating doesn't cover multiplayer stuff.
Yeah,
because we don't know how people are going to act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can't cover
we
that.
can put as many profanity filters or whatever as you want, but like the moment voice chat gets enabled, like
Gwyneth Paltrow made a quote not too long ago that basically said she's never actually had the talk with her kids because they were already taught everything they need, like they're going to learn on the playground. Like, because kids talk about stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because every time like I make an innuendo type of joke, little Jay will giggle. And I'm like, you better not get that. You better not.
yeah, you're not.
And the other
You're
day,
not supposed-
and the other day she actually said, that's what she said. And I was like,
What?
tell me what she said and why did she say it?
Explain that sentence.
The
Yeah.
damn mode activated.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things, especially as a parent, to think about. It's not just the game. It's what's the game capable of exposing them to.
Yeah, and
So-
people are far worse than video game scripts.
Oh,
in a
heck
lot of
yeah.
instances.
Dude, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I only asked because I felt it was interesting because my parents only started paying attention to the games I was playing after they heard song lyrics from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
that's so funny. So it's just
Which is funny because it's a skateboarding game.
yeah. So, I mean,
course
Like
It's
the
gonna
only
be a bunch of
violence
punk.
is maybe an injury
When
in
you
the
wreck.
game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they were worried about the soundtrack.
yeah, because they're
That's like the most
profanity in
traditional
the
old
track.
school parent thing
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah,
But
that
I
makes
feel
sense.
like it's all related, right? Movie violence, game violence, violent lyrics in movies or in songs. It's the same thing in that it's people that don't want to take accountability for raising their kids, want to blame something else for the reason something didn't turn out the way they think it should.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're a good parent, and you're present and intentional in your kids' lives, that stuff is going to have a lot less influence on them than good parenting. That's where I am at, and that's why I'm very involved in my kids' lives for that very reason.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I remember, my parents saw me watching or playing GTA 3 earlier than the rating, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and they were just basically just like, I mean, it's a video game, right? Yeah, okay, cool. And then my mom was like, "Oh, run over those people! Look, they're standing on the sidewalk." So
yes, so GTA 5 is a prime example.
Yeah.
It's a game she hasn't asked me to play. It's a game that I might raise an eyebrow if she asks, right?
Yeah.
Because my first game save on that got screwed. When cloud saving wasn't turned on, I built myself a new rig, installed the game, formatted my old drive, and didn't realize, oh crap, I had 45 hours into this game. Which isn't a lot, but at 45 hours into the campaign.
Yeah, you were a good ways into the campaign.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this again. So literally GTA 5 for me, it's just log in and come up with the most creative way to kill random people on the street.
Yeah, which is like one of the activities you told them, the game just gives you that sandbox. Yeah,
and it's does that make me then want to go outside and do it?
Yeah,
no, because I did it in the game.
Exactly.
No, I don't think there's a real correlation there. It's just for me it's the
you wake up every day wanting to run over people.
No,
but you have to
I
play
know
GTA to calm down.
I know that, and I know you guys do too, and I think just about everybody watching this show knows the difference between pixels and life.
Yeah. Yeah, like I used to play a lot of Quake 3 Arena, which is a very bloody game.
Yeah.
Like Quake and Unreal. Yeah, exactly. Like you get rocket launcher and you literally turn into chunks of meat
and skulls and it's all bouncing around.
And you can even shoot the dead bodies to explode them again. Yeah, and then even then, I'm still kind of sort of about blood in real life.
That was the very first game that made me actually go. Psh. Yeah, I remember that, and I remember then just thinking to myself, I want to avoid that because
the sound that it made too when you blew up a dead body was.
Yeah, and what I loved is when it happened to you, your view goes Dutch angle within your own mush.
Yeah, which is funny because you could still be waiting to respawn, and then your body gets blown up, and then your camera view goes flying. But yeah, like I was saying, I kind of realized that no, at least for me, there isn't a link at all between real life and video games because. The fact that I was still kind of grossed out watching surgery videos, even though I was playing hours of freaking Quake 3 and literally exploding my friends into bloody chunks.
But I think it's also important too to make sure that your kids are doing other things besides just playing games.
Yeah.
Right. Like my oldest, she reads a ton. She's heavily into her art. That's why I got her, the Wacom.
Yeah. You got her freaking baller tablet.
Whatever that tablet is. It was expensive as hell, but I want to support her talents, right? And then she plays guitar. I sent you that video of her playing.
Yeah, no, she's freaking killing it, dude.
Yeah.
It was dope.
And so she has lots of outlets and things. If I would definitely see a red flag get raised if she were just sitting there all day long playing violent games
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? Let's go take a drive. This is Dr. Sam. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. But that's that's just a part of parenting. And
it's funny the funny that you mentioned it because the GTA 5 character Michael, the one with the shrink, he's he was designed to basically be the stereotypical GTA character after the game. Mm-hmm. How he's sitting on the money, blah blah blah, but he's just so bored because he's not out there murdering random pedestrians and stuff. And so
and I don't want to quote him because the equalizers are on the table and they are loaded. If one of us cusses, the other two get to hit you.
Yeah, Michael's supposed to be the GTA character after the game.
But remember, the game starts and he's he's basically cussing. He's like, you just want to charge me another effing $500,
for a family fee or whatever.
Yeah.
He's all mad. Yeah, and then Trevor's supposed to be the stereotypical GTA
But I love the fact
player.
that the therapist is like, so how does that make you feel?
Okay, that'll be $500 extra today. Mr. whatever his name is, Fredrickson or whatever. But yeah, Trevor's supposed to be just the raw impulses of every stereotypical GTA player, which is why when you see
I think more people relate to Trevor than
no, but the thing is that's why he's so scary in the game as a character because his character's so well written that like it's like, oh yeah, if the person
Having a
I
shootout
was,
in his tidy whities.
yeah, it's like if the person I was when I was playing GTA was an actual person, it would be really scary.
Yeah.
That dude would totally be an insane maniac. So, and then you get Trevor because that it shows everyone like, yeah, no. This is like if video game violence really did affect people like that. These types of people would be walking around all the time, and it's like,
You know what I
no,
think is
they're
funny?
Just in San Bernardino.
I feel like I feel like licensed therapists or psychiatrists might even, if they were listening to this, or if anyone in the chat is licensed, is probably going, "You're not qualified to make that statement."
also
Yeah.
$500.
Pay me.
Oh yeah. Well, what statement would you make? Well, that's gonna cost you.
yeah. It's also group therapy right now, so the rate triples.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's what he said. That's what the GTA.
it's funny. It's funny because it seems like such a harmless topic that you came up with, but it really is a daily part of mine and my wife's life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
is to especially as my oldest has more of a footprint online. You know what I mean? But speaking of so we talked about the movies and stuff. So we'll change gears a little bit here. What's your favorite sci-fi movie of all time? And if it's an old one, and even if it's not, think of an old one. What tech did the movies predict that we actually have today? Like it actually exists. The reason why I even brought this up is because my kids like watching Back to the Future. And it was on TV not that long ago. And I remember watching it, and it's funny because it's like we went back 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the fact that it's 1985. But it's like, wow, they got so close on some things.
and
so far
not-
away on others,
yeah.
No, that stuff.
I mean, I was gonna say Star Wars, but we don't have X-wings yet, so I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie tech that exists today has to be in the same movie as your favorite. I think those are two
No.
different
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. So for instance, for me, I was thinking about Star Trek's Next Generation.
Yeah.
I've picked it up on and off. My mom was a huge Trekkie growing up, and I've picked up bits of it along the way. She's watched all of them, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, all that stuff,
Dang.
right? And I just remember thinking, back then, it seemed so futuristic. I was like, wow, the future is going to be
And then
cool.
you look at their communicator, and it's like, dude, if a phone was that big today, no one would buy it.
Right.
It's
TV remotes?
It's like this big. Hold on, what are you doing? I'm scanning for life forms. It's like, why
Okay.
does it need to be that big? My phone's smaller now.
Okay, so tech that exists from Star Trek to today.
Yeah.
Right? It's not on our chest, but our watches. We
And also-
can talk through our watch.
Pads. PADD
Pads.
Yeah.
pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Star Trek, because it's totally a
Yes,
thing
it's
now,
about the
for
same
real.
size. And I loved
Yeah.
how in the movie it was just a backlit piece of foil that they had lights that moved around
Yeah.
on it, but it's an actual thing, right?
And what I love is that back then, or I think all the sci-fi stuff never got how obsessed we would be at removing bezels from things.
Oh, yeah.
Because the pad, it's this big, but only this much is
Yeah.
screen, and then it has the little thumb keyboard thingy that they use or whatever. And I was just like, dude, if you tried to sell that today, they'd be like, oh, bezel god.
I think tech that exists today that we would see in old school sci-fi movies is the electroluminescent glass.
Oh,
The
yeah.
glass that you hit it with electricity and it
the
goes
private.
opaque.
yeah, it goes
privacy,
opaque.
Yeah.
And then you remove the electricity and then you can see through it, like privacy glass. That's really neat.
I think it might be a stretch, but remember Mission Impossible, the first one where you could see them making the mask, 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing exists today.
Yeah,
and then even
I'd still consider it in its early stages because of how slow it is.
Yeah,
but-
because in the movie it's like
yeah, exactly. It would be done in 5 or 10 minutes. They still have
Yeah.
to wait for it a little bit in the movie.
yeah,
which
that
is
would really
realistic,
take
but-
25 hours to print. Today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? And that's a piece of it, and you got to do
And
it
also,
together.
it's plastic and not fake skin.
There are
foam.
metal 3D printers.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, but
iconal printers.
yeah, but
yeah.
a metal face isn't gonna pass.
yeah, metal.
I
You
know,
don't
I'm
look
just-
like Jay. It's all like a metal armor.
Ding,
face.
ding.
There's no paint on it. It's just raw metal. What are you talking about?
I think
the mouth doesn't even move when you talk.
I think to me it's the amount of tech that's actually on your wrist.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
whether it's an Apple Watch or an Android watch, Samsung, whatever.
Yeah, okay, taking Star Trek as your example, right? This is not only just the communicator or the comm badge in TNG, it's
Yeah.
also a freaking tricorder.
A locator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. A tricorder, and the comm badge is usually for the GPS and everything, too, whenever they needed to beam you up. So it's it's insane how much stuff is in here.
The only thing we don't have is we don't have a hologram popping out of it.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
we went right past hologram. I think they realized you know what? There's no point in having a hologram.
Well, it's also really difficult to do in real life.
Yeah, I know. It needs something to project off of.
But I will say, in VR, hologram interfaces are the coolest thing ever
Yeah.
because you finally actually get to interact with one, especially if it has hand tracking. It's like, oh, it really is Minority Report.
Well,
This
like,
is awesome.
like you asked me the other day if I've ever played Fantastic Contraption on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just neat seeing the thing, like,
Yeah.
you know, you select what you want and you're doing your thing. You
But
know?
what if you beat the level, your controllers like explode in anime lines, and you're like, ah! It just looks crazy. Yeah.
What's the first thing everyone draws is a penis?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You gotta use the blue, like the floppy tube one.
Oh my gosh.
But
Speak for yourself, sir.
I think an easy, low-hanging fruit for movie tech that exists today is probably video calling for sure. Because
Oh, yeah.
that was one thing that we saw in Back to the Future 2 that I remember thinking, dude, there's no way. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's probably so much bandwidth, you know? Because at the time it was what? Like, at the time me and Nick were watching it as kids, like, our internet connection was dial-up. When the
Yeah.
movie came out,
There was
yeah.
not even really dial. I mean, there was
BBS's maybe, right?
no. We're talking Back to the Future 2 came out in what 1987, I believe. It was 2 years later, I think, or 88 maybe.
Yeah.
Like in-home internet services weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah.
There were maybe a handful of like dial-in BBS kind of thing. But it wasn't until the early 90s when it really started becoming like, okay, the internet is making its way into many people's homes.
Yeah.
You know, and then AOL is what really kind of made that, I guess, more mainstream
Because
and
the
affordable.
personal computer was already a thing by the time that movie came out.
Oh yeah,
because-
the PC.
Yeah, PCs
was
and
really
Macs.
an '80s thing, and
Yeah.
then people were like, "What do we do with these things?"
Because
you know?
remember in the antique in the antique library that they had in the movie, like there was like the original Macintosh there, and then that's it. It made it
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
It made it
Yeah.
funny to the audiences because
it was brand new at the
It
time.
came out 3 years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It'd just be like, dude, look at this ancient like 9900K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basically what they did. They just had it in like an exhibit and everything.
Wow, a 1080.
Yeah. Oh my god, a graphics card. What?
I want to buy that. Sorry, there's not enough.
Yeah.
What?
It's an
This was
antique
the
shop.
Future has a 3080 still out of stock.
This was the only one they made.
The year is 2077. We got cool cybernetic parts, but the 3080 is still not in stock.
Yeah, not even the museum.
No, could you? Cyberpunk needs to add a mod where you go to add like a cybernetic or some sort of a mod,
And it tells you it's
and
out of
it's
stock.
out of stock.
Whoa, Kiroshi, haven't seen that since 2021.
Here we go. New
Yeah.
video game. GPU buying simulator.
No.
So there's
That's
a
the
lot. There's
worst
hype.
game ever.
There's hype. There's review embargo. There's launch date, and you have to decide: are you going to try and mash online? Are you
No,
going to
wait.
wait in line at Best Buy? Or are you going to wait at line at Micro Center?
What if the game was like
and it's a multiplayer?
you were running the company, right, that makes the GPU, and then you have to
Oh.
maximize your profit margins without the customers revolting. So then you have to
And
like,
without security guards
exactly.
switching
So
lists.
It's like how much do you want to sell of them? How much do you want to sell them for? You know what I mean? It's like there's
Oh.
like minimum numbers.
We'll just copy the Nvidia model, maxed out, maxed out.
Yeah, but then the game could have the people like like Plague Inc. or whatever, how it has like random event pop-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, YouTubers didn't like the price of this graphics card, so now your stock is tanking. Oh
So
no!
you have an option. No, we'll take the real Nvidia option: ignore or
Yeah.
ban YouTuber.
Shadow ban YouTube.
Shadow ban YouTuber.
There's no fix option.
Yeah, and I bet you the ban YouTuber like option requires like game bucks that you have
So
to
so here's the
DLC.
thing.
DLC.
So here's the thing. It'll be an online game.
Okay.
Right? You're literally it's a VR game. You're literally just
VR
waiting
game.
in line.
You're just
having-
sitting at like the executive's desk, and all you do is sign papers.
No.
Oh, okay. You
Oh,
see
here
it-
we go,
you
yes.
see it from the customer. He's just from the.
Yes, so it's like Friday
seller.
the 13th. You got 10 people plus an admin. And the admin's the one that's controlling the way the launch goes. But the goal is to, of the other 9 people, only 2 get a graphics card.
What's the CEO character's name? Senjun.
Senjun Wang.
Oh jeez, we're
Well-
getting that's a little close to home.
We'd have to mix
We're
it up.
playing that game right now.
Yeah.
We'd really have to mix it up though. If there's only 2 people who are getting away with GPUs, you have to make it like at least a third person could get away by
No, but-
selling a GPU.
No, the best,
No, but here's
the
the
best
thing.
outcome is you sell all your GPUs to scalpers. That's how you win.
But here's the thing. You don't know. There's let's just say there's more than 9 options of places to go to try and get it, including online retailers. And there could be a no winner where no one went to the right place because he just decided to go ahead and sell them all backdoor to farmers or like miners.
This game doesn't sound fun at all.
Yes, it does.
This sounds like the worst
It's
version
just
of
like
Among Us
The
ever.
only person that ever wins in every session is the admin.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the game we're playing right
Oh
now.
my god.
Oh,
Meanwhile, there's a net worth counter.
Yeah.
So it's like. Do you remember not Roller Coaster Tycoon, but Sim
City?
Roller Coaster.
Oh.
Or
Sim theme park?
Yes,
Sim theme park.
Where like if you didn't have enough trash cans or enough janitors, like morale and happiness went down.
Yeah.
It's like that. So you get to the whole point is just like the Contagion game or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To make everyone as unhappy as possible.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So it is like plague. You're trying to get rid of the humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can
Yeah.
just call it Shortage Inc. Instead of
Shortage
Plague
Inc.
Paper Sale Incorporated.
Paper Sale Incorporated. That's amazing. It's the
I
sequel
would-
to Budget Cuts.
I'd play it. We got really off topic.
Yeah, too bad Flash isn't a thing anymore, and that I don't know Flash because that seems like that would have been so easy to code up.
Yeah. No. Okay. So what?
I also just lost the game. Anyway.
Oh, I'm not. Why did I have that showing? I'm gonna move that over there.
yeah, hide that. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so-
I lost in like 4 days.
Wow, dude, you
a
just
while.
made me lose.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's been since the last time, so a year.
Probably for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've lost more than that recently, but like.
Do you know how many people right now are going, "What the hell are they talking
Yeah.
about?"
Well,
They're
they
also
don't-
probably
they don't
going,
play the-
ah.
If you guys aren't
We got
playing
22,000 people to just lose the game.
Well, if you guys aren't playing the game, then you're winning.
You are now.
That's the only way you're winning the
You
game.
acknowledge the game, therefore you're losing.
Yeah. Well, if they don't acknowledge it.
Okay, so what tech is not out yet or exists from the movies that you want to exist? My wife last week was like, "Where's my flying car? I want a flying car." I mean, I also don't think I want people having 3D access to crash.
See, so I recently, like, I showed you the footage from my friend learning FPV at the park, right? With
Yes.
the Tiny Hawk one, and then at one point in the footage, you hear me just go like, "Yeah," and people wanted flying cars while he's going, "Ah!" trying to not hit like every tree in the park.
I feel like flying has to be 100% autonomous mode.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What do you mean you're going manual?
Otherwise, it'll all look like
yeah.
that scene from Back to the Future 2 when they time warp back into the
Yeah,
future and they're in
middle of the
traffic.
lane, yeah, And
going
everyone's,
the
like,
wrong way.
freaking out. Yeah.
I also,
Also,
too,
you
I
get
think
like me and Nick trying to split S stuff with our car.
they were
All I
only
do
like
now. That's legit all I do now when I fly the drone.
the split S's.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to throw
It's
it over.
fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got to nail that maneuver before you then work on the next maneuver, and then you put them together.
Is that or a dive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
It's those like hold your breath like tricks where you're just like, hey.
No,
Or,
when I
like,
have
I flew the other day 20 seconds in and I was like, watch this, guys. Wee pop. And I just broke
I have
the
the
crap
recording
out of
from
my
that.
thing.
Yeah, I have the recording from that. Yeah, because yours just abruptly stops.
Oh yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was I completely broke the solder joints on the video transmitter. That's how hard I hit that tree.
I can't wait to fly my freestyle.
I know. That was so disappointing.
I know,
So
yeah.
so we went to the park randomly and Jay was hyped to fly his freestyle and he arms it and then 3 out of the 4 motors work. And we're like, really? Like RNG? Are you serious?
Yeah.
right now?
Well, no. The more frustrating part is you test flew it here in the studio to bind
Yeah,
it.
literally like 2 hours before that. Yeah. And I was like, hey, cool, it works. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, there were some used parts, so that's fine. We got 3
Yeah.
new motors that are being delivered today, and then we got another one as a backup. Not
and to be
motor,
fair,
but drone.
those were my 3 used motors, and I like.
Yeah.
The reason I stopped using those motors was because I physically destroyed one. So
I saw a lot of people actually asking for more drone content. We do have more drone content coming up. Probably not till next month, but it's like anything else. We have to weigh the manpower and time versus the return.
yeah,
I mean,
because
yes,
the drone people are a subset of,
Yeah.
of all of our subscribers.
I mean,
so.
we can't take away from our main production schedule and time to do a video like that. But if we find ourselves with spare time, we'll come up with a bonus video where we show something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. If we spend the time and we take a day or two, 2 days, a day to shoot on like wherever we're going to go, and then a day to edit and all that, that's 2 days of opportunity cost. And if it bombs out and gets only 5% of the subscribers to watch it,
Yeah.
then we're talking like 150, 160,000 views. Yes, I know a lot of people right there were like, "That's a ton of views," but you understand
It's all relative.
that.
to,
Yes, it is. It's relative to the regular views that we get, and if it underperforms, then it doesn't pay the bills that way. So that's why we'll
Especially 'cause
usually,
the algorithm sees an underperforming video and,
and then it hurts the next
Hey,
ones.
is this guy kind of slipping up? Maybe we'll recommend less of his stuff. And
That's exactly how it works.
so
and
I think a
sucks.
lot of people don't know that, but yeah, like
Yeah.
if you have a video that bombs, it affects you for the next few videos because the algorithm is algorithming.
Yeah.
I feel like YouTube algorithm is a lot like that multi-level marketing where it's like,
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to
If
know
you-
how it works.
if you don't hit your numbers, you're not.
Okay, no.
getting the-
Here's the
And also, it's
here's
unsustainable, which is the most like the biggest thing about
this
multi-level
is
marketing.
this is the YouTube multi-level marketing. Okay, you need to hit your numbers. If you don't hit your numbers, you're going to be punished. Well, how do you hit the numbers? That's the thing you got to figure out. So how do we know if we hit them? We'll just have to see.
What do we do? Like, what makes us get punished? We're not going to tell you. You
But
have to
also-
find out.
You'll know when you're punished.
Yeah.
But also drink these vitamins that we sell and also sell them to other people.
Brought to you by G Fuel.
Yeah.
Man.
That's the real YouTuber MMO, not the one that PewDiePie came out with forever ago.
Fuel. Yeah.
No, just that's how the YouTube game works.
Remember when like fit tea and like skinny tea was like the thing for
Yeah.
like the dude? I swear, like you couldn't go anywhere on Instagram.
I
without
only
seeing,
found fat tea. Wrong F.
like, fat tea is just a gallon of sweet tea from churches, which sounds amazing.
With a
right now,
with a
but-
20-pound bag of Sonic Ice.
dude.
Whoa. Okay.
I want some fat tea right now.
I like where this is going.
I'll drink some ultra tea.
I finished my beer already. I'm
No,
disappointed.
I'm a half, third-ish drinking.
So speaking of drinking, what do you guys do to unwind? Does it actually involve any tech or not? I mean,
I tell you what I do. I listen to reruns of the RTFM show, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
when did you turn into a mid-roll ad? I tried to skip
Come on.
it. I tried to skip
Hold
it,
up.
but it
Wait,
didn't.
come on, that was smooth.
That
Give
was
it to me.
actually- That was super smooth.
That was as smooth as this Elijah Craig.
I was about
Get
to
it
say
at
that.
Bevmo.
Get it at Bevo? Now you're showing me Bevo.
They didn't pay for that, but now I just gave him a free ad. Sure, I don't care.
I drink it.
Now I'm turning into a Linus video. I need to stop.
I know. No, do we
Speaking of stopping, increase your stopping power with Ray Bestis brake pads.
Bestis.
Ray Bestis.
Ray Bestis.
no.
Yeah, it's a real brand.
Oh.
It's like
Duralast.
no, it's kind of like a Pep Boys
I
type
was going
brand.
to say, why would you put asbestos in your name?
Ray Bestis.
I know, but still.
All right, fine. What's your question?
My question is, what do you do to
unwind.
to unwind? Like, does it have anything to do with tech, or because obviously
Kinda
mine
no.
involves tech in
Cars.
both respects.
I like to buy cars.
Just buy cars. You don't work on them or drive them or anything.
No,
just buy 'em?
actually haven't even been doing much of that lately, which kind of sucks. It's kind of what I need to
Buying
do.
or
No, just driving.
I haven't been buying enough cars lately.
I
I'm
would
bored.
probably. Nick remembers this. We'd go out like almost every weekend and do a mountain, like
Just
a
a
mountain
cruise.
cruise
Yeah.
or something, and
Yeah.
and that was a really good stress relief.
Yeah,
I'm the
I was
kind
gonna
of
say
guy that's like, if I'm feeling a little bit stressed, I don't. If it's even if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll go hop in the car and I'll go for a drive.
just like that anxiousness,
Yeah.
right? Of
Yeah.
just like you don't have a reason to be stressed, but your body just decides.
The
to be.
driver's seat of my ZL1 is my happy place. It is. Even though it's a harsh ride, it's way too much power for any public road. It is my happy place.
I mean, it varies.
The throttle is exponential. You know, you can not push it a whole lot, but I haven't even been doing that. That's the thing. And my wife and I have been talking about that. She's like, you need to get back into like some of that head clearing space stuff. Like you said, that's why you took some time off last week.
Because
you know?
it's so easy. I think you and me and Jay's heads are both broken in the same way. In that, it's really hard to forget to give yourself that time because you get so caught up in working, right? And
Yeah.
and then for you not only because I only pretty much only have work and you have work and
but that's
the whole
not
family
healthy.
side.
You know, that's
Yeah.
not. So I mean, I'm obviously 100% vested into this company, right? And you've obviously proved your interest in this
Why
company
didn't
as
you
well.
put your name on it? No, I'm kidding. It literally, it's like right there on the shirt.
So, but the thing is, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I know you.
None of
you
us
love
would
what
be
we
here
do.
if
right.
we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
But the thing is, because I love what I do, kind of going back to that video we put out a couple of days ago or yesterday, whatever it was. I don't know. I've been drinking. It's fine. I sometimes can have a really difficult time
Turning off.
admitting to myself that as much as I love what I do, I need a break from what I do too.
Yeah, you can't do it all the time, even though it definitely feels like you can.
Yeah, I've come in.
Which is- yeah.
I've come into work before and told both of you like we're just having a whatever day today. Like we're not filming anything. I'm not in the right place to film.
Yeah.
Like I can't force
Creativity.
me to be.
Creativity.
Well, not even just force creativity, but I can't even force myself to fake it if we have an idea already.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah.
And I feel like anyone in the audience that's been like or had a creative job or that sort of stuff has struggled with that, like, you know, having to, especially if the job requires it for a project or some deadline or something, like
Yeah.
having to force yourself to be creative or to do what you like love to do but aren't feeling like doing it that day. You know what I mean?
And I feel like
yeah.
whether you're a YouTuber or not, whatever career you have, if you love what you do, I think so many people in the chat right now can relate.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can still love what you do, but need a break from it and be upset with it.
Yeah, you could love welding, but like there's gonna be that one car or that one freaking girder or that one whatever that you need to.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I've found myself over the last little bit going, all right, what's the next progression from where I am, and how do I get out of doing this? You know what I mean? And that's what sucks, because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like I want to stop creating content. I want to quit the channel. That's not going to happen, obviously. I'm way too involved in this to be able to do that. But sometimes you ever sit there and just daydream like, I just want to rob a bank. No, I don't know if that's what you daydream, but it's like you just start to go like way out there in your like your
I've
fantasies.
thought about it. I've like literally thought about like just moving to like freaking nowhere.
So part of me is
America.
like, if I ever won that Mega Millions I never play,
yeah.
I will totally just shut down the channel.
But
obviously that'll never happen because I don't play the lottery, right?
Yeah.
But again, that comes back to the headspace thing, because part of the headspace clearing for me is acknowledging that you need to clear your headspace.
Yeah.
And then unloading the weight, which is what that video yesterday was all about.
Yep.
And I know that there's people that are like, that's just such a first world problem for you to complain about things people having negative things to say, but it's just like that meme with Katy Perry. Everyone asks you if you're fine, but you tell them you're fine, but you're really not fine because there's no way they could possibly understand. It's very true.
Well, we were talking about it earlier offline before the stream that like it's way easier for somebody to leave an anonymous hate comment than it is for one of us to read it. Because as much as we like to just be like, oh, whatever, that guy doesn't matter. It still sucks to read hateful stuff.
The difference too is
about
you'll see folks that'll say, I see the negative comments, but just ignore them. The thing is, you can see the negative comment and not like be upset by it because they didn't put time and effort into creating the thing that someone's complaining about. So they don't have the deep rooted care for what we do like we do.
Yeah.
So they don't feel attacked or personally attacked by that comment because they're just seeing like, if you said something mean to him, I'd be like, wow, that's mean.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you said it to me or vice versa, that's a whole different level of effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we all do a pretty good job of not really reading the comments too much and stuff. But yeah, clearing headspace for me, I've been starting to play video games again.
Yeah.
All of you right now, if you're looking for a free to play game, and if it's not free, it's really cheap. I've been playing a crap ton of Besiege.
It's $15 on Steam.
It's 15.
You got it confused with the other free game. That
the one that made the one
like a freaking shopping spree on the sale. And
I know.
You have like 7 games.
I bought $124 worth of games
on sale. That's how many games you got.
And then I played the free one first, and I played that for a bit. It looks like it's like making fun of Fortnite, but it's animals.
Oh yeah. It was a Super Animal Royale or whatever.
Super Animal. Yeah, it's like it's a total spoof on.
Yeah, it looked freaking awesome.
But anyway, Besiege is a physics-based building game where you have to complete objectives by creating like catapults and old medieval type stuff.
It's been around for a while, but it's like really polished now. And like I saw Jay playing it, and like it was basically
we made an airplane.
I think we still have to one day all three of us like do a BattleBots, like an actual just full on BattleBots.
Yeah, because there's multiplayer too.
Yeah, so it's like 5 minutes to build something, and then you know what I mean, and then like whatever you can do in 5 minutes, and go for it.
No, that's 5 minutes.
That's a live stream.
No, that's the challenge.
That's the challenge.
Like especially with me too. If both me and Nick are gonna have to figure out the game in 5 minutes as well as build
so I highly recommend if you guys are like, I'm bored, I'm with games, just it's $15 worth a shot, in my opinion.
Besiege and Totally Accurate Battle Simulator are both like really fun
Totally
games.
Accurate Battle Simulator?
Yeah, it's totally not accurate. It's like all putty people, but they like it's just AIs fighting each other, but you like place the armies.
Okay.
And it has like up to 2,000 like character limit on each side. It's insane.
Yeah. Besiege is fun for me because I spend most of my time just you'll be editing or something, and you'll just hear me like lose my I'll just lose.
Yeah, okay, this is what it sounds like. I just hear pink, pink. Oh, that didn't work. I look over and like there's 30 sheep on fire. There's blades flailing around everywhere on the ground. And I'm like, what have you done?
I've had my own weapons detach and attack me before.
Yeah, you lost
My
all your
spinning
cannons because your saw flew off and cut the cannons off.
No, we made a turret that could turn, and then you were like, fire all the cannons at once, and the turret was like,
it just ripped off the top.
Yeah, it blew my mind how robust that physics engine is because you can look at something and pretty much guess in your head what's gonna happen, and it'll happen that way.
Yeah,
which I love. They tune the physics engine so perfectly.
The best quote was, I had built the thing as part of, because you have to progress through levels. You could do free building and not progress and have no size constraints and stuff, but basically Phil looked over and he was like, oh my god, he's like, you basically took a pirate ship and put it on top of like a platform.
Yeah, and then right after I said it looked top heavy, you like fell over. And then I was like, see, exactly. It's so good.
I think it's a fun game worth trying.
We tried the tank tread spinning, like turning style, but with wheels.
Yeah,
on
but
it.
they were like,
yeah, your wheels were like, and they're all breaking off and everything. Yeah, no, that game's awesome.
What I found out is you can actually attach blades like to the wheels,
Yeah.
so you can make the wheels, even though the wheels are spiked.
And then we looked on YouTube and it's like Space Shuttle and Besiege, and we're like, what? Like, okay, I guess that's.
remember that guy made a
physics.
Panzerfaust, not
Yeah.
Panzerfaust, but he made that the tank.
Yeah, we've seen like auto loading rocket launchers and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like my rocket won't stay attached.
And then it's like, duh, you have to build a rail for it.
Yeah.
We didn't even know.
And then
that.
we did. We built a rail, and then we're like, we should put cannons on the rail. And then I put underslung
I wish
crossbows.
they could see a picture of that
I know.
thing. It's so ridiculous. He called it Deathy because it basically looked like
It looked like
it
Wally,
looked
but
like an overgrown
but
Wally
deathy.
with a pirate ship side of
Yeah,
the ship.
and then
on
there's
his
the
head.
one where we had to kill all the birds. So we just made a big blade that just goes upright and just and they
basically
fly
an
into like a fan.
unfolding windmill, except with blades instead of
Deployable
like
windmill?
yeah.
Yeah, and then we made flamethrowers pop up out of it. Remember? So they fly through, catch fire, and they get chopped up. Yeah, you guys should try it. You know, not sponsor or anything, but
Oh, you should have called that machine the KFC because it just makes fried chicken instantly.
Oh, yeah.
It just chops them up and then fries them.
so what do you do to relax?
It varies. I personally just like to disconnect like all my stuff, like so no one could like text me or anything.
That's kind of why I put that part in my question. Was I was wondering like, do you guys actually what amount of disconnect do you do from like social media or technology?
Like I just throw the phone in the bedroom and take off the watch so it doesn't bother me, and then I just go play with the dog or something, go for a walk.
See, I can't do that because I have like
Family.
no.
Family.
Well, yes, but specifically, I have family that's got health problems, and
Yeah.
I don't want to not be reachable. You know, so
No, that makes sense.
yeah. But
Ben,
so
do you ever use like at least do not disturb if they're on your
I've never
favorites?
turned on Do Not Disturb.
Oh.
I guess I could, and then
Yeah, because
like,
if they're in your
make a
favorites
rule
list,
for them, right?
then if they're in your favorites list, then they automatically get through.
Well, maybe I'll have to set that up because there's times I just if everyone's home and I don't have to worry about like it's my wife out and about and got a flat tire or something like today, and it'd be like, okay, I don't. It's gone, right?
Exactly. Yes, you really did do that just now.
That's like extreme scenario though. Most of the time it's like I go invisible on Steam or something, so I don't get bothered. Like, hey, let's play games together. I'm like, no, I just want to play by myself.
Yeah, I'm
Just-
default invisible on Steam too. Shout out in the chat if you guys are default invisible on all of your video game things because those like I love extroverts. I love all you extrovert homies, but like, dude, if I'm playing a single player game, no, I don't want to play Rocket League. Like I'm just saying, or Elite, or anything. You know what I mean? It's like I'm playing a game. I'm playing the game I want to play. I don't want to leave the game I am currently wanting to play to go play a different game.
Or
Yeah.
can I join you in that game? Like, no,
Yeah.
don't join me.
You mean like
Imagine
you mean
if
like
you-
when you're playing the Division and you're just having fun soloing, and then suddenly 3 of your friends who are high level pop in and then just start mowing everything down for you,
that only
and
happened
then when you say, "Hey, what are you guys doing? We're just helping you. Hey, can you ask next time?" And then y'all be like, "Oh, well, fine." And then peace out.
But
You
then-
mean like that?
And then the funny thing is that also raises all of the enemy levels for Jace.
Yep.
You just went from actually doing work to like, I guess I'll just watch.
Yeah,
'cause
pretty much.
I can't do anything with my level gear. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they all left, the level came back down. But yeah, I was just kind of like, I was having fun being like, okay, how can I make it through these fights
Yeah.
by myself in these boss encounters and
And
stuff?
then the reinforcements came. And just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And you guys already knew where you were going, so you were just like blowing through it. And I'm
Yeah.
lost, running around like barrels lost, and I'm just like, guys.
decided you go behind one guardrail and then like he jumped back the other way. I'm like, which way are you going, dude?
Because I didn't know where anything was. So I basically went down like a step and then back a rail over to where I was in that platform. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's why like if I'm gonna be playing a video game to unwind, it'd be something like Elite, where it's just one of those time sync games where you're just, you know, I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb and I'm just flying around the galaxy doing errands and crap for, you know, however many hours, and it's like, it's nice to, it's like I think it's an ADHD thing.
What was that?
Oh, my phone's on.
Wow. Amateur.
I know. It's probably like an ADHD thing, but it's like I'm only really at peace when my brain has one task to focus on that I can like shut everything else out.
Yeah.
And like for me at this point is probably one of them is Elite, one of them's editing video, and the other one's flying drones. It's like those are the only three things right now I can think of that like my brain can fully latch onto and just get lost in it.
I kind of wish I could get back into my model building. The thing is, like, if I don't have a lot of time to sink into it, then
it's like why start, right?
Yeah. I
No,
still have that
sense.
little destroyer that's like 90% done that I haven't finished. Because what happened, that was something I picked back up obviously a few years back, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, I got all the time in the world to work on this thing, and then I kind of stopped. I got that Yamato built. A couple of things I still have to do on there, but it looks great. And my wife bought me a remote control boat. You guys saw that video. I was just sitting there out there in the backyard in the pool, just like, and I was like, man, I need my captain's hat, but it's here.
Well, don't forget to take
They
it.
should make the transmitter waterproof, or we should conformal coat the transmitter so you can actually sit in the lounger in the pool, and you're just like.
It's not even that fast. That's the best part about it. It's like, you know
It
what?
just cruises around.
We're flying around super fast drones, and I got my fast trucks and stuff like for RC stuff, and it's just like.
Just putting
It's
around.
nice to have something that just like lets you enjoy the sights, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I told you, I was like, I want to put an FPV camera on it.
Well, it's funny because as I got more skilled with the drones, I've noticed myself flying a lot smoother and slower. Because it's like now I'm just like now that like the actual task of flying is second nature at this point, it's nice to just cruise along the treetops, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks really nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're just like
Maybe
just
that's
slicing
what
through and stuff.
your neighbor. He probably experiences like, oh, it's nice to cruise around with his.
Yeah, he's got that hexacopter.
I think
thing.
he does, but mostly he just doesn't want to leave his yard when his kids are playing at the park, so he lets them go to the park, and then he just hovers with his drone and watches them, which seems really creepy, but that's what he does. He literally hover parents.
Imagine
Literally a helicopter parrot, like an actual.
Imagine the kids are playing Nerf wars in the playground. It's like enemy UAV in the air.
Yeah, if any of those kids have
I
ever
still
played
like
Call of Duty.
I still like when our backyard was under construction,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there and I'm like hosing down, or our backyard was done. It was finally done, and I was like hosing down the concrete and stuff, and I was like watering the plants, and I just hear. Zzz, and I look up at the corner and it's all low and it's like zzz, it flies away all fast. I was like, oh, I don't know who that was, but it's our neighbor like way down at the end of the street. He's a cool
That's
guy.
funny.
We really like him. But later I was telling my oldest, I
I
was
wonder
like,
why he flew away like that. Maybe he noticed his battery voltage and he was like, "Oh crap!"
no, because it was right when I looked at it. So I think he was like, "Oh crap, he's looking." But anyway,
Oh, he heard me. Oh no!
no.
You've
so
been detected. Get out!
it was my oldest daughter that actually told me that he's the one that uses it for watching his kids. Because I was like, "Whose drone is that?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so's dad." I was like, "Oh okay." She goes, "Yeah, he lets his kids go down to the park and then he just flies his drone over the park to watch them."
And we saw it that one day
Yeah.
when we were hanging out, right? And
Yeah.
then we were hanging out in your backyard, and then we just see him go. And then like 3 minutes later. And I was like, oh, I guess there's his battery, I guess.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny though.
I mean, it's smart, right? It's ingenious.
Yeah, I mean,
The guy's not lazy by any mean. He's just like us. He's a big kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has a freaking hexacopter that's like this big, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, I'm actually kind of curious as like what he has it for besides that, because obviously those you only get one of those if you want to carry some big camera. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately like run that or something on it, you know.
The guy actually is like on the school board, so he doesn't even have like a technical job where he would use it to like survey roofs or anything.
Yeah.
He works on he's a city school board, so I don't know.
I guess I've just never seen anyone buy a leisure hexacopter because it's not like you can. I mean,
A leisure hexacopter.
you could acro it. You could
Because DJI makes those, right?
Yeah, those are. I mean, DJI is one of the big brands, but
Yeah.
usually you see if it has like 6 rotors, it's usually because it's lifting heavy stuff.
All I remember is that they brought a hexacopter to shoot Dirtfish Rally when we were there for our video, and
Part of it is
it wouldn't
redundancy,
even take off.
Oh, because it got GPS locked.
Yeah, yeah, something was, but it was it worked fine, and then it said it needed a firmware update. They performed the update there, and then it wouldn't fly. So next time he was pissed. He was like livid. He lit DJI up in an email. But
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of lighting people up, that's a terrible Segway. Segway?
Subway?
Wow. I'm fine, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good weekend.
When all you can burgers is
drunk
burgers.
officer, I'm not God.
I'm too drunk. All right. Anyway, so this is an even week, which means we are going to have our tech tips. Not to be confused with Linus Tech Tips. Ours are actually useful. So,
Every time it cracks me
I know.
up.
Yeah, it's like
It's such a
useful.
dumb joke, but it cracks me up every
like, oh.
time.
So this is where basically we'll just give you guys a stupid tech tip that It's kind of like yeah, that's a good one. You know, just something to make your life a little bit easier. Tech hacks, if you will. Nick, take it away.
Bring an extra cable with you to charge your phone, but like in multi-ended cable, just anywhere you go, just in case.
In case Android friends want to charge their phone, or
or
if you're an Android person, iPhone friends want to charge their phone.
if you haven't seen, they have those cables that like the end is like a basic connector, like a barrel connector almost.
Yeah, no, usually
Yeah.
it's just a USB-C end, and then you can get like a Lightning.
Well,
and like
they have some that are captive, and they're just like on rubber pieces. So you can put
Yeah.
like a USB-C or a mini or a micro USB.
They usually do everything, yeah.
Yeah, and Lightning. But I love the reasoning for that, because how long have you been like, hey man, do you have a cable? I'm trying to borrow a cable.
Yeah.
Well, for like
Yeah, because Nick was using the
3
freaking
years.
iPhone Trilobite
6S.
Fossil S.
I like how you were like, you know what? I told you that my phone was repaired because the glass broke. I don't know how that happened anyway. So anyway,
Flashback
my
to
phone's
5
over there on
minutes
the
ago.
floor. Anyway, and I told you my battery at that time, this one seemed like it was lasting longer. And you were like, oh, did you actually have any battery degradation in your old
Yeah,
phone?
like 1%,
It said
right?
99%.
Yeah, so
His
that
was
was
like
1%.
what?
take to repair shop or
So
service,
it's probably
replace
below-
the battery.
I think that's below 60% capacity.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, he would come into work at 9 a.m. and his phone's already at like 40%.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this, but a lithium battery, like in our phones, laptops, everything, right? These days, it's considered end of life when it only holds 80% of its original capacity. Especially for cars. Cars do that too.
Right.
They'll end of life your battery if it's not holding 80%. Which, I mean, random tangent, but I've seen like what they're doing with those car batteries is turning them into power walls. That's what like Tesla uses for their power wall stuff.
Yeah.
Is it's used car batteries because now that like the density of the thing versus its weight, like the energy density versus its weight doesn't matter because it's not in a moving vehicle. It doesn't have to move itself.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. It's still holding 80% because 80% of 100 kilowatt hours is still 80 kilowatt hours. That's still a lot
But
of
you
power.
paid for the 100 kilowatt hour version.
Well, yeah, and that person used it until the battery's dead. So Nick's phone was at like 60-something%. I think I checked it once.
What's funny is you were like, you'd never seen the battery thing move off 100. Like you personally.
Yeah,
is what
me
you told
personally. Yeah, but I also get a new phone every year, like an idiot. So
I do. I usually do every 2.
yeah.
That was like my first. Yeah, this phone's my first phone, and like
I have known
Forever.
you. I've known you for 12 years.
I've had it for.
No, I've never known you to have a new phone ever.
This is
period.
my first new phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't think of that.
let me age this friendship a little bit. When I met Nick, we both had Moto Droids.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So, yeah,
Jeez, I
since
just thought about when I had one, and I was like, oh my god, you guys been friends for forever.
so, and in that amount of time, Nick has never had a current phone within 3 generations.
So you've always just gotten like a used one or an older generation one.
Yeah.
But not new.
From after the Droid, it was my mom's 4S.
When they were on the
When we were
5?
already on like 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah, and then eventually I got to go to the 6S. That wasn't a hand-me-down. That was like my dad just, hey, take that. Go.
Yeah, but
go
your
get-"
dad didn't want it
Isn't
anymore because
that-
the 8 was already out.
That's
Yeah.
literally a hand-me-down, though. He just
No,
said,
no,
it wasn't a
'cause-
hand-me-down. My dad just handed me down.
My
the
dad didn't physically hand it to me.
Because he had an upgrade on his account.
Right.
So
That's
he gave it-
exactly what a hand-me-down is. You're describing a
No,
hand-me-down.
I went to pick it up from the store. This is when my dad was like out of
he
state.
had an upgrade, but
Yeah.
then you bought an old phone new at
Yeah.
the time. Okay.
Okay, so anyways, I got that, and then I got
and
this
Nick
one on
are-
my own.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you. Right now, we all have the exact same phone.
Yeah, legitimately.
I've
I was
never.
like, yeah,
This will
all
never
of us-
And do you know what's
happen
funny?
again
And since you've gotten that phone, I haven't seen you walking around with a cable hanging out of your pocket going into a battery pack. It's kind of nice.
I think I literally said "holy sh" when I saw it. Like he walked in and I was like, and I think it was his turn to order food or whatever. And then like he hands me his phone and I was like, wait. Really?
What's funny is it was like a
That's
newborn
awesome.
baby for him. He was all like, here, it's time to order your lunch.
Be careful.
I mean,
Meanwhile, you've dropped yours how many
I'm
times?
probably exactly 50% between you and Nick.
Yeah.
Because you
Actually-
throw yours, but you have a case and everything. I run caseless, but I don't also treat mine that well. Like, I'll do stuff like that.
They're
And it
pretty
doesn't-
robust.
Oh, yeah. You saw me drop my, what was it, the iPhone 10s?
It was like the day after you got it.
Yeah,
You
the day after I
plinkoed
got
it
my
out of my
iPhone-
truck.
Yeah, I got an iPhone 10s and I plinkoed it out of Jay's truck.
It
because I
hit
forgot-
like door jam, the bottom of the door jam, the step, the concrete.
No, the curb, then the asphalt.
It was just. It was,
Yeah. And then I picked it up and he's like, is it fine? I was like, Yeah, there's a couple dents. I was like, both of us were surprised at like how resilient the steel band was. It was insane.
Well, my tech tip is if you don't want to leave your house to watch your kids, just follow them with a drone. No, not really. So this one I actually didn't know.
Better yet,
You're not trying to do
don't
with the
have
analog
kids.
feed. You're like, I can't see. Hold on, let me get closer.
Because I can't point the camera down.
We could circumvent that by just not having kids.
No, you guys are working on that one already.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like an insult
And also, like,
that you know of, right?
me and Nick are not having kids, just to make that clear.
You guys are working
together.
together on not having children together. Anyway,
There's no way out of that.
no, my actual I'm gonna unbury myself here. My actual tep tick.
You're just digging like this now.
I'm creating caverns.
Yeah.
No, my tech tip is that you can actually use the browser as a calculator. Not that I would condone cheating or anything, but if you guys are like taking a test or something and you're like, oh, I'm not allowed to use a calculator, just type it like, in person, even you're allowed to have your laptop up or whatever.
Or like a realistic scenario in which you already have the browser open and somebody asks you a math question.
Yeah, just literally type the equation into the browser, and then it will spit out a result.
I could finally get rid of my TI 84 Plus that I've had to have since high school.
Now, Nicholas, you need to learn all this stuff because you're not going to always have a calculator in your
you
pocket.
have 2 generation old phones, but you keep your calculators up to date. No, it's probably a TI 81. That's it. Not even a TI 82.
Texas Instruments is going out of business thanks to iPhone. But
No, they still have some pretty dope like scientific stuff used in like engineering fields and
Did you
stuff.
ever actually?
Okay.
What was your reaction the first time you realized how much a stupid graphing calculator costs? Because I was like,
Yeah, when I went into
there is
when
not $130 of technology in this thing. It runs at 8 megahertz. Like, oh my god, I was so mad.
there was me using the graphing calculator, and then my friend who was in honors class playing Super Mario on it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
do
This is the only way to get your money's worth out of this stupid thing.
like root it.
I feel like it's like a racket. Like I feel like Texas Instruments calculators are just like it has to be like a front or something for some money laundering because there's no way you're gonna pay $130 for like a freaking 25 megahertz processor. Like,
yo,
You're not
if
paying
you're
for the processor, you're paying for the functionality. Like me, for instance, even when I was in like trigonometry and calculus, I would sit there and just be like, cover the sensor, and now it's off. Now it's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. Playing with a little photocell.
Imagine if they had that for graphing calculators. Like the whole bottom half would be photocells because to run the computer that's inside.
oh man.
Jeez. So my tech tip would be, if you guys don't know, Steam has a built-in in-home streaming thing. So if you have Steam on 2 computers in your house and one of them is your gaming rig, say your second computer is a laptop, you can go play the same games on your gaming rig and it'll play on the rig, but you can watch it from the couch and then control it from there.
You know how many people right now might have just went, really? That just seems like such a cop-out one.
Yeah, but
Let me
there's
just
also
say,
an equal or greater amount of people that didn't even know what the
let me
in-game
just
tab
say,
is.
I have like it was like a 16 or 17, maybe even more. I don't know how many years badge I have on my Steam, but I was one of the original signups.
Yeah, I think like I'm only like a couple years behind you, and I have 12.
Do you know it wasn't until like 2 years ago I knew I could do that?
Exactly. So this is exactly why I decided to make a tip. And even the last video that we shot, you were just like, I've never actually tried to use it that much. Like where's all the settings and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, it's in preferences. It's in one of the tabs on the left called in-game or in-home streaming.
Yeah, and you can even tailor the connection speed.
Yep, and just enable it on both the computers, and then
Now you can't do it from outside of your network. Like you can't remote into your home from somewhere else. I guess if you're on a VPN, you could, but it would probably be really poor latency.
it automatically does it. It just it gets a little more complicated because you have to have the ports open on your home network.
Right.
But if they are, you can literally just log into Steam on a different computer, and then it shows up in the dropdown, just like, hey, this is my machine. So
I have to imagine though, over something like that would be a lot more latency.
yeah, I mean that's why I'm only recommending it on your LAN. But yes, you can do it over the internet if you want to, just provided you have good upload speed from your home and all that stuff, and no one else is uploading.
It's gotten a lot easier to do that too, because my tablet back then, it didn't have Steam Link as an app. It was like a third-party app that lets you stream, that fakes it as being another unit you can stream to from your computer. But I did that for a while, and then finally they actually had an official Steam Link app you could download, so that'll connect efficient.
It's funny how a lot of this is derivative of the cloud-based gaming. Like that was attempted to be a thing a long time ago, and then Stadia and all that
remember
stuff,
OnLive?
right? But yeah, Yeah, and
I
then
remember playing it and it was so crap, but like it was kind of cool though to like play Borderlands on a netbook.
Yeah.
because it was like does the thing play video? Yes. Okay, then it'll
as long as
stream
it had a
games.
as long as it had a fast Ethernet connection and it could decode H.264, you could play on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool technology, but I love how it's all derivative from attempting to do it on the cloud, and then Steam was like, well, let's just let them do it in their own network.
And
you know?
I mean, another like sort of offshoot of a tip based on that is they also have Android and iOS clients for Steam in-home streaming. So I think the client's called Steam Link. So if you have one of those handy, like the controllers that basically hold your iPhone in the middle like a Switch,
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can pretty much play any controller-based game on your computer from your phone from wherever you're sitting in your house or whatever, as long as the phone has good Wi-Fi, 5 gigahertz, and your gaming rig's Ethernet.
I'll have to try that.
It's pretty freaking awesome. I like, again, like time sync games like Elite or Besiege might not work that well because of the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I think the input would be a lot more
Yeah,
difficult.
but, like-
sometimes it's hard when you have a really complex build. It starts to get hard to select the one block you're trying to select.
And also games that are very dependent on input latency. Like I tried playing Rocket League on it, and it was like actually frustratingly annoying. So, but something like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, where you're just playing story, it's third person shooter. That's
or
totally
like
fine.
Broforce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some side scrollers or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's tons of stuff. No Man's Sky, whatever, like time syncy type like non-reaction time based games are really awesome for that sort of stuff because you can chill on the couch and your phone is going to be a better Switch connected to your gaming PC than a Switch is. I'm just saying.
That's what a lot of people were using like the NVIDIA Shield and stuff for. It was more. It was original purpose. Yeah. It was definitely way more useful for in-home streaming from Steam than anything native on the.
Well, because before Steam did in-home streaming, NVIDIA was doing their game stream, and they sold the Shield as a game stream client basically.
Yeah.
And so
speaking of which, I still have an active account for their cloud-based gaming crap. I forgot what it's called. I need to.
Oh, GeForce Now.
GeForce Now. I really need to cancel that.
I think everyone gets a free account now. There's like a free tier where you can play up to like 5 hours or something a month.
Oh,
So
okay.
they might have reverted you, or you're paying.
No, because I got a renewal notice. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay, yeah, maybe you are on the non-free tier.
How dare they take my money? Ugh. All right, guys, it's time for the FTFA, which is from the freaking audience, is where we read your short, concise emails of anything you want us to talk about in the show. So basically, this is a topic section that is powered by the audience. First one here comes from Tay. Says, I love the drone content, and the RTFM show is something I look forward to every Friday. I'm wanting to get into drones. Any advice from you guys on how to get started would be greatly appreciated. I think that's kind of I wish you could give us a little more detail. Does he want to get an FPV? Does he just want to fly around a camera?
Yeah. So, okay. So for the uninitiated, there's basically two schools of drones that you might say. I like to just call them camera drones or flying cameras.
Right,
which is,
like the Mavic.
Yeah, anything from DJI that you
The
see.
old Phantom.
Yeah, DJI Phantom, DJI Mavic, Air 2, whatever. Those ones are just basically, do you want to fly a camera in the air so you can take pictures or video of stuff? If you do, and that's all you want to do, those are awesome for it. They got all the bells and whistles, obstacle avoidance, like it's really hard to crash one of those intentionally, basically. Whereas if you want to learn a skill of, being able to fly a machine and, have that experience of flight, then FPV that's more.
What's cool about FPV is it was a natural progression of RC because it takes the stabilization of drones, right? The quadcopters. Mm-hmm. You have your various modes. You have your acrobatic mode, which is just 3D. If you tilt it, it's going to stay in that tilt and just fly around.
Yeah,
fly
acrobatic
away,
mode is basically, I like to call it for the newbies, I like to call it just full manual mode.
It's full manual.
It is. The drone only does what you tell it to. It doesn't stabilize. It doesn't do anything. If you want to turn it upside down and go full throttle on the ground, it'll let you, and it'll just be like, you're an idiot, but okay.
Unlike Level or Horizon, if you let go of the sticks, it automatically will level out the flight. And
Which
just
is
go
much
stable.
like a DJI drone flies. Yes.
Right. But the Horizon will allow you to do flips and barrel rolls if you have the stick exceed a certain degree.
Yes, they got full auto, like medium auto, and then they got full manual.
Yeah, and then level flight is just that. Like, it's just, you're not going to be doing any flips or barrel rolls, but you only get a certain amount of degree in any direction, and that's the way you get to fly. And I've progressed from that to Horizon, and then I'm going to go from Horizon to acrobatic or 3D once we get my drone up in the air.
Well, 3D is a specific, like, where you have reverse thrust. That's what.
Oh, that's right. Acrobatic allows you to flip over, but 3D.
Manual,
yeah. Which anyone that's driven or flown like RC helicopters, or especially an acrobatic helicopter, will understand that concept.
Yes, because RC helicopters, if you ever flew one of those back in the day, they were pretty much in manual mode almost always.
But the hardest part about flying those, usually for most people when it comes to RC, is perspective. Not knowing, is it coming towards me? Is it going away from me? What's the angle? So basically, with technology advancing like it did and everything becoming microtech now, they were just able to plop a camera on it that sends you a live analog feed to a headset that you're wearing on your face, kind of like VR, only it's not 3D, where you are looking from the forward perspective of the drone. And that changes everything for me.
Because you and I have flown a lot of line of sight.
I had
RC
a hard
stuff back
time
in the day.
transitioning from line of sight to FPV.
Yeah, and then
now I can't go the other way.
Yeah, now it's a lot more difficult the other way. Yeah, but like if you've ever seen those clips of people flying drones directly into themselves, because they'll hover it and they'll make it face themselves because they want to see the front, right? And they want to get the video of it, and then they want it to go away from them, so they freak out and they push the stick away from them. But they're not thinking of the fact that the drone is facing them. So, of course, you're pushing forward. The drone's going to go forward. What's in front of the drone? Your face. And then you get those videos of all those people like that dude that crashed.
It's all hovering.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, I don't know what happened. It's like, you flew it in yourself. What do you mean you don't know what happened?
But I think the thing, a lot of things people don't realize is it's FPV drones, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
Like the starter kit, granted, we've all graduated from the Tiny Hawk 2.
Yeah.
Which comes with the FPV headset, the controller, and the drone itself, a 2S battery and a 1S battery, and the charger is like $170, $180.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people might go, that's a lot of money. But if you've ever done anything RC, that's not a lot of money.
I think one of my first helicopters alone was $170, and that didn't even count the radio, anything, no batteries, nothing. It was just, here's your helicopter.
Now, like anything else, it can progress into a very expensive hobby. All of us now have Fat Shark headsets and better controllers.
Our setups are probably around $500 each,
which is still which is still less money than I spent on my rock crawler.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, I have a bunch of rock crawler friends too, and I was just like, I was 2 drones in, and I was like, I still haven't eclipsed my friend's 1 crawler, so I think I'm doing all right now. And then I went and built myself one.
All right, so Elijah from the Philippines says, watched your upload yesterday with all the frustrations you have with the current events, and I couldn't agree more. With this in mind, would you consider a perfect balance? What would you consider a perfect balance between what your content your viewers want to see versus what content you want to make? Loving the podcast and much appreciation from the Philippines.
Kamusta ka?
Phil speaks Tagalog, so you guys can have like a conversation later.
A little bit.
So anyway, every piece of content I make has to be something I want to make. We never make content that's not something we want to do.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't do it.
So every piece of content we make is something we want to do. What we do, though, is we consider the reaction and the reception from our audience as well. So there's plenty of things we'd sometimes like to make videos about, but we just don't because it deviates too far from the mid-range of what our content's about. Mm-hmm. Tech is kind of all-encompassing these days, right?
Yeah,
there's drone tech, there's RC tech, there's car tech, there's computer tech, there's micro tech, there's portable tech. And you might notice we don't really touch tablets or phones on this channel or smartwatches and stuff. Although Phil is very versed in that, I personally don't carry a huge passion for that sort of technology, so I don't really want to spend any time on it. But there are things like the drone video. We'll put out a feeler and we'll see what was the reception of this. Are people asking for more for this? And then we'll do another one. And if it also performs well, and by well, I mean if it's anywhere near the range of normal, then we'll kind of like ease the audience into this being normal content. Like for the longest time, I didn't do mods. I didn't do PC modding on the channel. Like some little stuff, like I'm going to Dremel this out, or I'm just going to cut this hole to make this fit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But then getting into things like showing people this entire time, like my painting skills. I never shared any of that because I didn't think they cared.
Yeah.
Turns out they did. So then we started doing more of it. Now we have people constantly asking us every day to do more.
You kind of serendipitously realize that like, oh, these skills, I can also just transfer them to PC stuff, and then I can do custom PC stuff more.
Yeah.
And then was the Destiny 2 build kind of like the ultimate fueler, I guess, for that?
It was, really.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, like not only just a feeler for like how the audience is going to react, but also a feeler for like, are my skills up to the task of making a computer instead of a model? You know what I mean? And
a perfect example, too, is the glass bending build.
Yeah.
Although it's PC related, it's really only interesting to people that either are... There are folks here on this channel that will watch every video we put up. It could be 20 minutes of us taking a dump, and they would watch it. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And so those people obviously keep the channel afloat. But if we are able to do something that's like still PC-centric, but is like bending glass tubing, they're going to find that interesting. But if they're not interested in water cooling, which is a niche within a niche, they may not tune in. So the views on that was a bit low. But that was a good feeler because now if I take that skill I'm learning and tie it into a mod or a build, then we get the general audience watching.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things we keep in mind when we sort of decide like, okay, what do we want to do versus what the audience wants us to do? The problem is we can't do what the audience wants us to do because the audience, although a blob of opinions, isn't a singular opinion.
Yeah.
You can ask any question and you're going to get yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. And you have to throw that data out. It's just not useful. It's really not. In fact, there's been times where I'll put up like it's been a long time, but like a straw poll. And it'll just be like, okay, should I do this or this?
Right.
And they're very opposite. And it'll be like 51 to 49. And it's like, oh, that doesn't help. Yeah. So
That's funny.
So we kind of just stick to what we love and we'll put out these feelers and we base kind of how we move forward based on how those videos perform. And unfortunately, if they don't perform great, we sometimes throw some ideas out.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it for the reasons we discussed earlier. Pygmy Skirmishes says, where would you like to see technology going in the next 10 years? E.g. artificial intelligence, nanorobotic surgery, viable space travel for all.
Can we just cure allergies? Like, can we just
Yes.
start with that, please?
Yeah.
Because me and Jay, I mean, I feel like I buy an air purifier and then my allergies get more intense, or the pollen outside gets worse, and then it's just like, as
it
we
only
keep
helps you
stacking
when you're home.
I know.
You have to leave the house.
I think the private thing is we need to get one for here. We definitely for sure need to get one for the office.
Yeah. Well, this is
'Cause
not
both of us have-
a sealed warehouse. The winds kick up
No,
and
I
then it
know,
all
but
comes
in the office at least.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just super dusty. But yeah, like
I haven't really been using the one in my game room much because I'm not in there a whole lot. I might just bring that one here. That's
Oh,
the
right.
big one. That has
Oh,
it's
right,
also a
right.
humidifier. So that'll help with us walking through the doorway and getting shocked.
on the super dry days. Yeah. 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 Okay. So mine's allergies. What about you guys?
I'd really
you
like
want
to
in
see
10 years?
spaceships, like some cool
I'm
stuff.
kind of surprised you
I don't-
didn't jump on the whole future space travel thing.
Because I mean, okay, yeah, Mars is cool, but like we still have problems on Earth.
No, not
Like
not,
allergies.
not leave the planet.
Oh.
Just go on maybe suborbital trip around the world.
I think because SpaceX honestly has it covered. pretty
So we're
dang
already
good,
there.
right?
It's not future
no,
tech. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I love I love watching every single one of the Starship tests because it's just like, it's really freaking cool to see a building do like a belly flop and then rotate and then land right side up. And it's like, what? It's like
Yeah.
we're freestyling apartment buildings in the sky now. Like, it's like, what is all this for? It's like, well, we're going to test this thing going to Mars and like doing all crazy stuff and like, you know, building a colony out there. And it's like, yeah, that stuff is cool. And like, I think SpaceX is freaking killing it right now. But I mean, yeah, I guess in the next 10 years, a solid colony on Mars would probably be a dope thing. Like it'd be dope to in our lifetime.
I don't think it's gonna happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, maybe not in 10
Maybe
years.
my kids, but
I think I would like to see the maglev stuff, like more maglev transportation.
like the hoverboards.
Yeah, like that or bullet train, like the bullet train that's supposed to be developed.
Oh yeah, or
in
like
North America.
Hyperloop or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
BS Elon is talking
The
about.
stuff that Japan already has that I haven't experienced yet, but I would like to.
Yeah.
This is a little history lesson here. The reason why Japan has those amazing rail systems and Europe has those amazing rail systems is those land masses were ravaged by war about 75 years ago.
Oh right.
So
And
they
then-
had entire infrastructure to rebuild, whereas our railroads, half of them are still the original ties and steel put down in the 1800s
Yeah.
when it comes to our trains going back and forth across the country. We
Dang,
didn't have
before your flashlight when you were trick or treating.
before my flashlight went trick or treating.
crazy.
No, we trick or treated with lanterns.
Yeah, the lantern with the mirror.
An
Just
oil,
yeah.
an oil lantern.
He's referring to a comment my daughter made asking if we had color TV back in the 1900s, and she was dead serious. Anyway,
She didn't know the difference between 1990s and 1900s.
so
Yeah.
so what you're saying is we have to hit that.
what I'm
war
saying
refresher
is
to get that.
somebody has to spend the money to rip up all those rails
Yeah.
and put down modern rails.
Basically,
Trust me. What do you think would happen if you tried to put a bullet train down our rails? Has anyone ever ridden the Amtrak across the Midwest? It's like this.
did you ever see a flying bullet train? You would.
And that's about to become the world's largest rail gun around.
It'll look like sim rail gun.
No, I researched that. I was curious one day as to why Europe has such an amazing rail system
That
that's
makes
all
sense.
modern and stuff, and
Yeah.
so does Japan. Because again,
They got reformatted 75 years ago,
Yes.
basically. So it's like,
It's
it's like when you reformat your PC, right? You're like, okay, cool. I can start fresh. I can install all new stuff that's
yeah,
updated.
it's a crappy part of history, but
Yeah.
the other thing too is the United States did help rebuild too.
Yeah.
The United States spent a lot of money in rebuilding building the
Yeah,
infrastructure.
and for the record, I wasn't laughing at the fact that the countries got freaking bombed to the point where they got reformatted. I'm just laughing at the fact that they took that opportunity to, you know what I mean, to build something crazy.
We didn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
We
like
didn't have a
said.
choice. Entire
Like,
cities were just wiped out.
We
you know?
would have to pay to take ours out unless, God forbid, a freaking war happens and then they get all bombed. But
it also makes a lot of sense with how close together a lot of the countries are in Europe.
Yeah.
To just make a convenient connect in some way that wasn't airplanes.
Yeah, like an LA to Vegas bullet train would be a country to country bullet train in Europe.
Yeah.
The same distance.
And I don't know about you.
Texas.
I would love to just hop on a 100-mile-per-hour train and take it to Vegas.
Yeah.
It would take 2 hours, not even 2 hours. And I would much rather deal with that than going to the airport. I mean, I never fly to Vegas because it's only a 35-minute flight, but it's a 3-hour drive with no traffic. Or when we came back a few weekends ago, it was 7 hours because it was a holiday weekend.
It feels like on the bullet trains I've been on in China and Japan, it really just feels like it's all the
gliding.
awesomeness of like an airplane flight of just traveling a big distance really quickly, but none of the annoyances of just like, oh, we're sitting on the tarmac for 30 minutes because somebody,
Oh yeah.
sitting on
If a train is a minute late in Japan, someone's paying for that.
Oh, yeah. And they're giving everyone notes on board that said that, to give your employer like, hey, I was late because the train was late, not because I was late.
Yeah.
That they take punctuality so serious over there, and I love it. But it really did feel like flying minus the annoyances of flying.
Yeah.
Of just like
The only train I've ever been on is the Amtrak, and let me tell you right now, we had a delay because we hit a cow. Not even kidding.
What?
Not even. No.
Wow.
We were going through Albuquerque. Right? That sounds like a cartoon, right? Oh man, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. So it's always Albuquerque for some reason.
Who goes there on purpose? No kidding.
No. We were going through Albuquerque, and then suddenly the train just like and it's slowing down, right?
Yeah.
And then we're just like, why are we just sitting here?
Yeah,
This
in the
is
middle.
weird.
You're just in the middle of the desert, basically.
Yeah, it's like farm country, right?
Oh,
It is a desert, but it was like desert farms and stuff, right? So we're just like, what the heck is going on? And then we hear like, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be underway shortly. We just have to. They were like, we have to look over the train because unfortunately we hit a cow. And I was like, okay. And then because what happens is too, there's a lot of people don't know this on the front of these Amtraks and stuff, and the freight trains too. There are sensors that will read the rail, and it can actually tell you if something's across the track.
Oh, like ahead, in time.
Yeah,
ahead
it goes,
in time,
and we also made quite a few stops because that system would trigger something.
Yeah.
They stop, the engineers and the conductors get out and walk the track like far enough ahead to check, and then they off and go again. Like our rail system is really archaic and old. It's terrible.
I remember getting a few. So back when I used to work in downtown LA, my friend also worked out there, but he was taking Metrolink there and back from I think Azusa or something.
The Metrolink's probably the fastest train I've ever been on.
Yeah, and freaking like more than once in a year, he's called me and be like, "Hey, on your way back from work, can you pick me up from the station because
Yeah, because they hit a person.
Yeah, we hit a person." And I was like, that's literally the second time this year. And it sounds like the most ridiculous joke, but I was like, what is happening?
No, I'm not even kidding. There's
But,
it's like there was a thing on the news about it where like transients or other people that are just maybe mentally unstable will just commit suicide by walking in front of the train.
Which is like, I mean, I haven't verified this, but I've heard in Japan that if they find out who you are, they will definitely, all of those costs will go to your family.
Yeah. So you're not doing anyone any
Part of it
favors.
is a deterrent for that. And also because like,
Yeah, it's like the idea of.
I mean, you're inconveniencing everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, like as sad as it is, right? You're inconveniencing
and especially
everyone else.
with a country as honor driven as Japan, I think the last thing you would want to do is leave that level of dishonor with your family.
Yeah, exactly.
That would seem like a pretty good deterrent.
Yeah.
All right, so Asan
That
says
went dark real quick.
I know,
Sorry,
right?
Sorry about I guess he was hoping
Gee,
for
thanks,
like
guys.
hopeful 10 years of space technology.
Oh, I
We're
guess
all
I
just
didn't.
Like,
Yeah, I know.
we're all just like bullet trains hitting people, derailing.
Self-driving cars would be fun for just day-to-day transportation to and from, but as the petrol head I am, I would never want to let my car drive me when I want to drive it.
Yeah, that'd be like only DJI drones.
Oh no.
It's like iRobot. What are you doing? I'm going manual.
I'm still scared of your auto drive, even though if I'm not using it. Like just when you're hands off, I'm like, hey dude, you're used like two hands. Come on, dude. Like, what's happening? And you're just sitting there. Oh,
Computers.
yeah, I'm like, hello, this traffic.
I'm still paying
up.
attention. Come on.
I mean, it's like it's one of those things where it's like if all of the cars are auto drive, then the system is going to be bulletproof. But it's unfortunately the transition that sucks because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to make a computer get along with humans, which are very unpredictable elements in a system.
Yep. You can always build a better computer and we'll always build a better idiot.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on. Hassan says, hello, Jay, fellow WoW addict here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, I'm not a WoW addict anymore, so I'm not your fellow buddy. Anyway, what was the most proud or biggest gaming achievement for you guys? For me, it was getting into World's top 100 spot for the raid clearing with his guild, Tier 22, Mr. Jarris.
Nice.
Love the show. All the best. For me, it was getting in the top 1% of little bird kills in Battlefield 3 in the world.
Oh yeah.
I think for me, it was beating Halo 2 with a friend in co-op on Legendary in one sitting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We were that hyped for the game.
I was so bad at Halo. My brother-in-law used to like, hey, let's play Halo together. And it was always like, okay, come here. No, okay, you're dead. Here, all right, okay, fine. Like I was constantly dying.
I think what helped though was that at least like because it was co-op, it wasn't really like we were never getting frustrated at each other. It was just like
No, he was getting
I think.
frustrated with me because I kept dying.
Oh, in co-op.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was what. Yeah, I think that would probably be my biggest. That's definitely the most in a day that I've spent like gaming that intensely, which was I was like I could not do that.
And
today.
it got more pressure the farther along you got, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not
it's
just because the game gets harder, but because you're like, I want to do this in one sitting.
Yeah, exactly. And then like the sun set 3 hours ago, and you're just like, at this point, I just kind of want the game to be done. Like I don't even care what happens anymore. Like because like you just have to play so flawlessly at Legendary. It's like so annoying. But yeah.
Yeah.
And this was before like you could look up a YouTube video tutorial on like what the best strat
Yeah, no,
is.
we're talking like Xbox, the original
Yeah.
Xbox.
Original Xbox,
Pre-Xbox.
yeah, for sure.
Or yep.
The OG
Blur.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Not the Xbox One, which
Okay.
is the third Xbox, because Logic and Microsoft
Or the
gaming-
Xbox
One
One X,
X.
which is the fourth Xbox.
Yeah, or the One X. Oh no, sorry, the Xbox
Series
One
X.
Series X,
Which is the fifth?
X.
Is there 5? No, I thought it was 4.
No, that is fifth. Yeah, wait. Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then One X and S,
Which is the same generation.
mid-generation. Okay, yeah. So Xbox Series X is the new generation. Yeah, you're right. The fourth one.
Microsoft naming. Do you have an achievement in games, Nick, that you're proud of?
Dude, I can't wait for Windows Series X. Sorry, I
The subscription.
had to sneak that in.
I think it'd have to be doing the Master Chief Collection, like with my cousin. Like we
All of it?
all of it in
Wait,
like
you
one
played
sitting.
every Halo in one
Wow.
sitting? Okay,
Yeah.
Trav, mine like,
But
it's just one game.
we didn't do legendary. We just
Okay.
we just threw it on heroic and just like ran through all of them like in one sitting.
Heroic is like a good tasting hot sauce that still burns you to the point
Yeah.
where like you
Yeah.
don't really want to eat it after a meal.
Well, it's kind of like
but-
me. In some, if it's a game, I'm like, okay, I care about the game, but I really want to see the story. I will throw it on normal or easy.
Oh yeah,
Just because I want to
yeah.
get through it.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
play
mean?
Mass Effect on like normal or easy just because like Mass Effect is just like a choose your own adventure game with like intermittent
like
shooting
right now
parts.
in Resident Evil 3, I put it on hard,
Yeah.
and I think it's
Oh.
noticeable.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why you keep like you're just like this knife sucks.
That explains a lot now. I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you dying so easily?
Yeah, she gets like tickled by like one zombie and then like half your health is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think honestly, it's a little bird for me. So
Yeah.
I think the most intense campaign though was Gears of War 3, like on max difficulty with 4 people. Because if even one of you died, the whole
Yeah.
thing restarted.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a game series I wish I had played a lot with co-op with friends because that was always a fun series to play.
So
Yeah.
we can't go a whole episode without talking about cars. So Ben says, which feature annoys you when a new car doesn't have it? For example, I find it annoying that my 2020 GTI SE doesn't have automatic climate control. Very respectfully, Ben.
What? Wait, really?
You know what's funny is I don't use auto climate.
Yeah, like hold up.
No, but I'm
No,
surprised.
okay, so
Yeah.
for me, I would find it extremely annoying if any modern car didn't have automatic headlights.
Yeah.
Because that goes in my rant from a few weeks back where I was just like, you idiots that have auto headlights, why are you driving at night with your lights off? They're automatic. It means you turn them off.
Yeah,
you moron.
intentionally turn them off. Yeah.
And then you're too stupid to realize you're driving at night with your lights off because you go, I have dash lights on, therefore my lights might be on. Why can't I see anything? Was that a cat? I don't know, because my lights are off because I'm an idiot.
The other night, literally, I saw a Sentra with no lights, not even running lights or DRLs, and I was like, wait, and it's like nighttime on the freeway, and I'm just like, because I was merged into him because I didn't friggin' see him, and then he honked at me, and I'm like, what?
Why
Yeah.
are you honking? You don't have the light.
Because he doesn't even know his lights are off. That is how absent-minded of a driver that person is.
Yeah.
What feature must a car have for you guys, though? Like, if it doesn't have it, you're disappointed.
CarPlay.
For me, it's honestly a decent infotainment, like for Bluetooth and CarPlay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm looking for in used cars. Like,
Even
yeah,
wired,
and you know what the problem is?
CarPlay only. I'm like, really?
The problem is, like, the ZL1's infotainment is really nice. The trucks is better. The Rebel.
Except for the
The
wind advisory
Mercedes
every
has
5 minutes.
spoiled me. The Mercedes has completely spoiled me.
And the Mercedes doesn't bother you about wind advisories every 5 minutes.
No, and you can't turn that crap off. Something about the Uconnect
anyone
system.
with a Ram and Uconnect know
It's
how
like
to turn off the wind advisory?
windy conditions exist in Chicago. I'm in California. I don't care. It's the windy city, stupid.
And then it beeps. It like audibly beeps at you too.
Yeah.
It's like beep beep beep. Warning: wind exists, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, no, it's always like wind advisory in San Diego, and I'm like, that's 2 hours away.
I think it's just a joke that the devs put in because
Yeah,
they know those
just
trucks are going to
like-
be lifted. They're like,
No, they're
oh,
just
hey,
like,
we
this
should-
is a truck that's going to G. We're just gonna bother him about the air existing for every 50 seconds.
Oh my
It's
god,
so
you guys
dumb.
suck. You
they
know
know
that?
they know they love people love put lift kits on.
You
them.
guys, you guys
then
are.
and then-
Yes, I have a lift kit on my truck. Okay, first of all, it's a BDS 6-inch coilover lift kit. It's a good one. And second of all, I already named my truck the PP compensator. Okay, so what else do you expect me to do?
I don't know.
I've already called it out. I want my plate to be PPCMPS TR.
TRX.
That'd be amazing.
No, I'm not getting a TRX because that's for people with inverted PPs.
What's like his head? It says head unit can blue screen faster.
Yes. The fact that my truck has legitimately had a blue screen.
We were at the gas station, and if you were nearby, you would have heard just both of us just bust up laughing for no reason. Like I think
I'm
we
all
were,
Googling how to reset it.
Yeah, we were laughing for you were Googling and I was laughing for probably 30 whole seconds because we were just like he turned it on and then it literally all it showed was a blue screen and we're like
What?
it
Yeah.
was just like it really just blew.
And you know what? In that truck going backwards, you need the backup camera. So I was like, well,
Well, and what made it funnier was that you turned it off and then you turned it back on and it was still a blue screen and we're like, wait, no.
we learned you just have to turn the key off and shut the door for like a minute, and then it completely
Yeah,
clears
there's
it.
like a dance you have to do, but it was
It has
just
happened
funny.
more than once though, where I've had to actually pull the battery cable. But there's been a firmware update to the Uconnect system since, and it hasn't happened since.
Dude, your truck needs a CMOS reset button.
Speaking of a reset, it's time for y'all to reset what you're watching because that is the end of this week's show. Thanks for hanging out with us on the RTFM show, episode 9. Check it out on Spotify. 999 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the other podcasts you like to listen on. And then don't forget, check out jasonsense.com, our new merch. The
That's
shirt's
upside
upside down. We got our spring line. When it's gone, it's gone. It is limited time availability, as well as our giveaway, which is in the link below. So, with that said, guys, any last words? Words of wisdom?
We'll see you next week.
Oh, and Phil won't be here next week either because he's leaving us once again. But we will have a special guest.
Oh.
Someone else that's in the YouTube space. So if you guys want to know who that is, you'll just have to tune in next week. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, we will see you in the next one.
In the next one.